such an asshole.
So here's a finger. I want you to study this finger, okay? Every of the adult children out there who are going to say that we endorse raising and sexual harassment, like of the real kind. That I want you to look at that right there. This is an adult conversation because there's real serious economic consequences and ramifications to this. So for all you ideologues and you political zealots that have an agenda, namely feminists, that everything is right here. Shh, 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 shh. The adults are talking. Okay, so go fuck off somewhere. This video isn't for you intellectually dishonest people. For those of you who are like, geez, what are the consequences? Let's have an adult realistic conversation. Interesting question. I had to take notes, and I will apologize in advance because it will be meandering, but the guy lays down an interesting thesis or premise. Hey, Cappy, keep me anonymous, please, but just wanted to hear your take on this concept. I keep seeing the Hawmans crying wolf and ruining men's lives via weaponized fake victimhood. Yes, that again, back to our previous audience that should have tuned out. If you're still here, it does happen, and we are not talking about real accusations, a real crime. Okay, now you go over there. There's the park. They got a whole new bunch of funding in Henderson, Nevada for a whole new bunch of parks. And one of the parks is called the Fuck Off Park. So go over there and fuck off. My question is that as we face the decline coming towards us more rapidly, the parasitic folks will continue to come out and look for a payday decades after the relationship dissolves, alleging misconduct and weaponizing the court system. Kind of like how now Justice Kavanaugh faced that accusation from the gal who I forget her name. They've created an economic incentive towards accusing men, even though so much time has passed. Well, I don't care how, let's be honest here. I don't care how much time has passed. Did it happen? Was there an actual crime? You know, justice should not have technically a statute of limitations. So yeah, I mean, you know, okay, fine. But it does, you know, I always have this saying, cops or it didn't happen. If there was a crime, where are the cops? And usually the absence of cops or the absence of filing a police. So like when we worked security, as many years ago, campus security, to fight forcible bedroom, not fun time, raising. They said if a girl comes up to you and says, I've just been raisined, you immediately had to get them either to the cop shop or a clinic so that they could do the raisin kit. So they could get the DNA of the perpetrator so we could catch the bad guy. Right. And that was, dude, you got to do that now. Like, that's the number one thing. So we could get the bad guy. And when I don't see a police report or an act like, oh shit, this happened to me, we got to stop. I don't know. I don't believe it. Oh, you don't understand the mental, fuck off. Just fuck right off. I'm sick of the excuses. We got to get the bad guy. I'm so, well, you don't know the state too fucking bad. Get the bad guy. So it doesn't happen to another person down the road. So when I don't see a police report filed or the cops were called or something, I'm immediately suspicious, which is why, even though in a principled sense, well, if a crime was committed, a crime was committed, and it shouldn't matter if it was 20 years later. I guess if, you know, someone stole a packet of bubble gum, that might, do you really care? So yes, in a principled sense, but oh, surprise, he's running for, well, not running, but got nominated for the Supreme Court. Now it comes out, oh yeah, or Stormy Daniels, which violated the one principle whores and prostitutes have to have, which again, I'm all for whores and prostitutes, fine. The anonymity. Oh, look, you know, and then one could question it. Did it really happen? You know, oh, Trump's running for president. Did it really happen? It's amazing when they're all running for office that this comes out. It's not when it's at the moment in time. It's 10, 20, 30 years later. And so that's where I immediately call bullshit or smell bullshit. Like, you better have some great evidence, man. But yeah, men are paying attention to this. But let's also think of the long-term consequences. So you're some young dumb jamoke. All right. but then you're looking around like, well, wait, what if I were to become, I don't know, a senator or a rich guy or something like that? Is Susie Q, who I dated, is she going to come back 30 years later? Oh my God, I just remembered, when it didn't happen just because you got wealthy. I don't know how many young dumb jamokes have that foresight, but you're looking like, well, that's weird. So anytime I start to get a slight public figure or some kind of success, do I have to worry about all this? And let's go to the other end. Like I said, it's going to be all over the place. The accusations against Kavanaugh were severe. Okay. I think Bill Cosby was also severe. But what about Aziz Ansari? Not I'm sorry, Ansari. He's a comedian. Look him up. I don't even know if he's ever recovered. It's not even the accusations. It's just he had a very awkward date. The details of which we won't go in here, but he did nothing wrong. But because it was awkward, the girl ran public with it because he's public figure. She wanted her fix of attention right into her veins. And because it was awkward, that certainly had a damaging effect on his career. Now, have you guys had an awkward date? Were you a bit drunk and handsy on the dance floor back in the day? Have you made a not polished approach to a girl? Well, I think that's everyone. I mean, maybe a couple Mormons haven't done it, but I think we're all there. And now it's like, oh shit. Okay, you're an 18-year-old idiot drunk at a party and you make an improper pass at a woman. 25 years later, you've done hard work and you do this and you do that. You decide to run for Congress, and out of nowhere, one time at a frat party, oh, really? That's what this is. And the point I'm trying to make with it, look, anytime raisoning happens, no, done. That's not even a debate. But a guy trying to look. Did you all get the cheek? How many of you got the cheek? Maybe you guys don't go in for kisses no more on the first date on the stoop. That's from a bygone era. Is that now considered harassment? As time goes on, it might be, because that Overton's window has moved and shifted. Things that were acceptable at one time are certainly not acceptable now. Asking a girl out at work, there's no legal ramifications for that, but that can cost you your job now. Whereas in times past, what was it? 20 or 25% of couples met at work. Because why would you girls want to find a reliably employed man for a husband? I mean, thank God you got rid of work. So it's not even necessarily the word criminal. I don't mean criminalizing in that there's an actual statute or code against it. And now it's an arrestable offense or a suable offense. I'm saying something that is simply socially criminal, that the court of public opinion would find disdainful. Now there are real ramifications, whether that's career ramifications, you lose your job, just general public shame that has some kind of cost and consequence to you. That's what I'm talking about here. And so, yeah, the court of public opinion does not have a statute of limitations. That's what I guess your concern is there. My question is that as we face the decline coming towards us more rapidly, the parasitic folk will continue to come out and look for a payday decades after relationship dissolves, alleging misconduct and weaponizing the court system or court of public opinion. They've created an economic incentive towards accusing men, even though so much time has passed. Or maybe it didn't even happen. Or you're making a mountain out of molehill. Right? The evidence is only hearsay. Moreover, a lot of times it could be a lie, but nobody challenges it because believe all women. Well, and also, again, not a legal court, but the court of public opinion. It doesn't matter. There's the football player, there's been two, maybe it was a baseball player. And we can have several examples where the girl was claiming all these horrible things. Or was it the guy? No, it was all three. It was a guy who's trying to come up with a de-aging company. And these guys had to go public and they fought back. Said, no, this did not happen. Whatever random accusations were made. Payday because believe all. Right. So I think these guys are going to fight. To suggest someone is bitter or worse, just wants a payday, is to be a bigot and a misogynist. Yeah, I mean, by some people, but it's happening so much now. Look, how could I put it? Not reputation, not caliber, the word I'm looking for, the trustworthiness, the character of women has really gone down. You won't see it. They won't. In my day, in the 80s, girls were sugar and spice and everything now. Nice. And now the word's getting out there. Maybe it's not sanctified and ordained by the mainstream media, but the internet and people like Fresh and Fit, the whatever podcast, which you could argue is not an accurate representation. I understand that. But the sheen, the pristine reputation, that's what I think it was reputation. The pristine, perfect reputation of women has been absolutely destroyed, and not necessarily by men. This is not, oh, well, they're just sweet little girls. No, they're not. Not as we increase and continue on generation after generation. They're not necessarily bad people either. I mean, they're people. We're finding out they're people. They're just like anyone else. There's good and bad. And it isn't, oh, that poster, women are perfect. Have you seen that poster? Look up the women are perfect poster to show the propaganda. So I don't believe most people are believing all women. Just wants to be, but it's costing women jobs and relationships. Right. It is. It's unfortunate. A lot of women don't understand this. Playing the victim, or I should rather say faking being a victim, or over dramatizing the prices you've paid in the past. That is costing you more than you realize in the long run. Will the economic impact offset the court system? Hang on. Will the economic impact offset the court system, or will it speed up the mass migration of the productive class? I do not believe the court system will be impacted. I think law will continue to be determined by politicians and political motivations, and will be disconnected from whatever happens in the real world. I mean, look at it right now. It is perfectly legal to discriminate against males and whites. Bigotry and discrimination is perfectly legal. There is no anchoring in should or the real. It's just the political whims of society at this point in time. So, and since when has economic impact ever affected policy? Oh my God, things are so expensive. Stop printing money, maybe? Whoa, wait a minute, Hitler. Balanced budget amendment? Okay, Mussolini. Why don't we just kill everyone? I'm like, not really actually advocating something that's dramatic or radical here. So I think the court will continue going on the court way. Or will it speed up the mass migration of the productive class? That's a little bit different. Johnny Depp, Jonathan Majors got a misdemeanor, but still counts. I thought he was legit accused. Johnny Depp, no. Trevor Bauer, Blizzard, Activision, don't know that guy. All went to court. All were proven innocent. Was Jonathan? I was kind of following that a little bit. Was he actually convicted or proven innocent? I thought he was convicted. Still had to pay. This isn't sustainable. Either the courts will update the laws, or men won't date anyone opting for prostitutes instead. Well, I don't think men won't date anyone opting for prostitutes instead. There are several other options men have on the table when it comes. It's not like update your laws or we're just getting hoes. It's not going to be like that. But men will certainly, as they are currently right now, divest from society and certainly take a more guarded approach in their interactions with women, and consequently, because men are one half the society, women are the other half. When men divest from society, that technically means they are divesting from women, but also society in general. I read a story about companies not hiring women with prior sexual harassment claims because they seem to be a liability. Right. And here's the sad thing. Again, ladies, you decide to have politics over reality. What about the women who actually were like legit sexually harassed, not asked out, not at the office Christmas party? Bob from accounting got a little drunk to put his arm around. I'm not talking about like they were actually, I get it, an actual harassment. What about if there actually are true victims? Well, it's more important to have victim status for everyone so we can get preferential treatment and money and lawsuit money than actual victims get justice. Is this going to reach into people's personal lives? It already has. I saw what happened to Brett Kavanaugh, where 30 years passed and his accuser couldn't remember basic details of the event, but was still allowed to ruin the dude's name. Where are the economic consequences of overuse of Me Too? Video response, please. All right, so I had to take some notes. Let's break it down here. All right. So what at the core of all this is that men have 9 times the interest in women, although I guess I should qualify that as sexual interest in women as women do men. That comes from all the different research of procreation rates between men and women, accepting dates, swiping data, all that. You could go look it up in any one of, you can look it up in the Book of Numbers, A World Without Men, and then Myron's book, Why Women Deserve Less. So, and it's you all know this, women do not have anywhere near the sexual interest in men that men do women. And this unfortunately has a large flank or weakness or exposed flank to men that women in society can take advantage of if they so choose. I'm not saying they do, well, some do, but it's just whenever you have, when one person wants something out of the other person more than the other person wants them, the other person has all the power in that. And they can use that disparate, not desperate, disparate interest to get other things out of that person. Right. So historically, that meant men would do all the work and risk in war and slave away. And women had to work too. I mean, maintaining a home and raising kids is a full-time job. So it wasn't like women just sat there and ate bonbons all day. But men were the ones who, well, even to this day, we're the ones out doing the oil fields and doing power lines. We're doing all the heavy lifting in society by far still. And then we even allow women to make believe that their social work degree is some kind of real fucking thing. Oh yeah, you're so smart with your master's degree in political science. Holy shit, you're a genius. Touch P now. That's what it is. So anyway, the whole point is that this gives unsavory, unethical characters, women, because we're talking about men, so binarily speaking, it has to be women. It gives them an opportunity to take advantage of men. And to a certain extent, some people within society, not all, they have attached traps or consequences to this disproportionate interest. I would also say governing this is women's disinterest in men, and you have what I call the Junkman Effect, where women may not hate men, but men constantly propositioning women for sex or interest or love, or it's some kind of reciprocation. Just like junk mail, like you guys hate junk mail and spam mail, right? That's how women view men. I think that's a very good way of understanding women's perception of men. So women don't like really hate you. It's just because men express interest so much more beyond what women are counter interested in men. There becomes a baseline adversary, like, God, I hate junk mail. Not kind of even knowing there's another human on the side of that. And so it's not even malicious, but so that women aren't constantly harassed or harangued by men, now they start putting traps or consequences into unwanted behavior. Now, socially, this was handled, in person. There was social etiquette. Girls would certainly reject men. And so I think that was normal. That was healthy. That was the way it was. I even remember in dance class, like sometimes there'd be a guy who was too aggressive and too creepy. And the girls would just stop dancing with the guys, and guys would help out girls and dance with that girl so the other guy wouldn't have the opportunity to. Sometimes they had to be taken aside, say, hey, look, knock it off. Don't put your hand on these girls' asses. This is not the place for that kind of thing. And so that was how it was handled in the before time. But I would say beyond women's junk mail disdain, beyond women's disdain for male junk mail. I guess there's a clever little term, male junk mail. Aside from women just having a general disdain for male junk mail coming in their inbox, I think feminism then added a warped, mentally ill, psychopathic, evil, actual weird religious ideological hatred of men. And maybe hatred even then in some regards is too strong, but an us versus then tribalism, where now we really do focus on female superiority and we can do anything, and then your entire identity is being anti-male or defined as the antithesis to males. And there's pure hatred that comes from that, and then there's like a rah team girl, kind of an unconscious tribalism, like you just as you cheer for the Green Bay Packers as opposed to the Chicago Bears. Does that mean you hate people from Chicago if you're from Green Bay? Not really. But in that environment, you get hooliganism and fights and a lot of seemingly hate-filled behavior, but not an actual hatred of people from Chicago. But arising from feminism comes that. And now with this at least adversarial relationship, sometimes even motivated by hate, sometimes conscious, sometimes not, and just the way of the sexes, you have now a huge incentive to start attaching traps, attaching consequences, more than something to merely govern male behavior so that we can all get along as two sexes, to where there's disproportionate costs to what is otherwise normal, but I call it normal but regrettable male behavior. So now when you ask out Susie in accounting to go on a date with you, Susie goes running to HR and you lose your fucking job. Now that doesn't happen all the time. Usually there's a warning. All right. But it does happen. You ask out a girl and nope, that's you're done now. And now the cost and consequences is your career, or at least that job, and a lessening of your career, a damaging to your career. There's family court where it's become more codified. There's affirmative action also where it's become codified, where you can actually discriminate against men. It's perfectly all right. There's the kangaroo court of the internet where women are just, which again, I take that with a fair amount of salt. Universities have already tried to become their own legal system, because you can't have a law unless it's got teeth in it. And where universities get their teeth is they can kick you out of school. And because at least a generation ago, millennials and some of the older Zoomers thought education was everything. If you're kicked out of college, holy cow, that was, as far as you were aware, was like a death knell. Like, oh my God, it's over for me. It's like, no, it's really not. Probably actually helped you out. You just go to a different college, or you'll find out the college is actually a bad thing for most people. But universities, again, you saw that a lot. All the campus false, they ended up being false accusations with Mattress Girl and all that. They never went to the cops. They go to the admin of the university, and then there'd be this interrogation and investigation and a hearing, and then the kid was, I guess, the more recently, I mean, there's about a dozen, maybe a score, maybe more. I don't know. I don't keep a tally. There's this young man who was going to Yale, and he was falsely accused by a girl of some form of a sexual crime. Didn't go to the cops, but he got kicked out of Yale. And now I guess because he got kicked out of Yale, it turns out he can sue this girl, as it presumably has been proven to be untrue, the woman's accusations. But the whole point is, besides a stern talking to or women's polite rejection of men's disproportionate interest in women, or even just standing a guy up on a date, now, because of, I guess, more modern political incentives, largely brought on by feminism, maybe girls are just sick of men. Maybe women don't need men anymore. And that's another thing. Maybe women just really hated men all this time, and we didn't know because they needed us to survive. And it's based on the individual, but Lord knows where that needle lies on the barometer of women's general interest in men. Maybe women never really liked men this much, and they are so sick of men that they want you to have some kind of serious price and consequence. Like, you need to put your hand on the stove and have it burned and never do it again. Again, it varies on polling data, and here's where it becomes amorphous because women are not a monolithic group. But 1 in 4 women don't want to be approached by men in public. That's based on polling data, how How much veracity there was in the polling methodology, I don't know. But the data that we have is 1 in 4 women don't even want to be approached by men, whereas 3 in 4 are okay with it. Well, that's still kind of a not starter. Like, okay, yeah, the majority, but you're going to piss off 1 in 4 women, which I don't think any guy really wants to do. I don't think that's the guy's intention. But the whole point is that there is an opportunity for women today to take advantage of men. Oh, no, that's not one. Well, there's certainly that too. The point is that the disproportionate male sex drive gives women the opportunity to take advantage and punish men if they so choose beyond what would be a normal amount to simply govern and regulate male behavior so we can function as a society. See what I'm saying? It's not saying they all do take advantage of it, but it's there. They have that ability. And I would say more modernly, as it becomes an us versus them mentality, we go to a war with each other. Women are increasingly taking advantage of that, right? Okay, so there we go. So there's this opportunity to take advantage. Now, the 3 motivations, one of which you're talking about here, first is laziness. You're talking more from a financial incentive. Americans are, both men and women, Americans are becoming despicable, lazy, worthless sacks of shit. And I'll show you an example on the male side of things to show you where nobody gives a fuck about morality. Nobody gives a fuck about who this hurts or what are the consequences. People are so lazy and so chicken shit afraid of real work. They will go to crazy lengths to get it. And what you'll have on the male perspective, this is in my latest book, A World Without Men, where the number of men, I'm going to remember the data here, the number of young men applying for mental disability, 2 to 1 women, all right? 2 to 1 men. Twice the amount of men are applying for mental disability as women are, young women, and that amount is growing. Men are increasing the amount of mental disability. Now, is it because men have mental disability problems? For some, yes. Just like for sometimes there's a legitimate accusation of reasoning. It's correct. But the majority of it is because of increasing percentage of men are lazy sacks of shit fucks who don't want to work. And they just like, oh, yeah, I totally have a touch of autism and depressions. Oh, my God, give me mental disability. And an increasing percentage of them are getting it because they just don't want to work. Some of the more, I'll give you another 2 examples of just how afraid the average human is of work. Is you have an increasing percent, what is it, 1 in 5 Zoomers, identify as not straight. No, shut the fuck up. No. You're doing that because you're too lazy to be popular in school, or you're too lazy to produce something of value and become a productive person in some way or regard, whether it's good grades or you're an athlete in school, or maybe you just don't care. Maybe you got to go do your own thing. People will fake being a gender they're not, a sexual preference they're not, in order to get value and purpose and meaning, or just simple attention or popularity. Some going so far as to go through surgery when in fact they're not straight. They're straight. They just, I don't know, raised by a single mom, no dad there to say no. Teacher's like, oh my God, go. It's like that Simpsons meme where they're all cheering on the 2 monkeys with the knives. They're like cheering on young people to go get the surgery because then they get the feelings like, oh my God, I brought a trans child. It's like, I don't know, maybe let kids be kids and later on let them figure it out as adults. Like, can you not push them? Can you just let them? Oh no, you're public school teachers. You have an agenda. Those aren't humans. Those are the things to make it that your life that's pretty pointless yourself has worth and meaning. I made a difference. Yeah, but it went the wrong way. You made it worse. Did it ever occur to you just there's no such thing as an absolute value of difference. Like, you can make things worse. Generally, public school teachers do. Don't work. You're entitled to everything. Just go out, be yourself, and sing a song. Where the hell was I going with that? Oh, laziness. Laziness as a motivating factor. So humans are very, very, very. Oh, and then the second one was faking a mental disorder. Oh yeah, and then having. Oh, and then homelessness. Dude, people would. It's cold. 3 people died in Milwaukee. 3 bums, homeless people, died in Milwaukee. Now I don't know. You don't have to be a geographic expert of the United States to know Milwaukee is in the north and it got really cold, especially this past week. I think it dropped to -10 and they found 3 bums. Like, dude, you are more afraid of working than death. Not to mention all the pain. And when I worked security, I never understood this about the handful of homeless people we had in and around campus. Why don't you hop a bus? Why don't you collect enough cans to get out of the Minneapolis winter? And they didn't. You know why? Because that's how deathly afraid of work they are. And they would rather, and now it's an increasing amount of people who live in homeless tents and camps and all that. That's how afraid humans are of work. So if a lot of people are willing to sleep in an unheated tent and in sub-zero temperatures just to do anything and everything to avoid work, it's not that big of a stretch. It's not a stretch at all. It's 100% guarantee there are some women who would fake accuse to get some kind of money, to get some kind of payout, essentially a shakedown, like Jesse Jackson and his Rainbow Coalition. Is he still alive? Is that asshole still alive? I'm wondering about him. Then there's also political motivation. Women have the right to vote, and a lot of them love a sob story. And you're all so sad. I mean, watch any Oprah. Oh, women are just so beaten down. And oh, shut up. But there's a huge political motivation. So you saw that with Kavanaugh. Oddly enough, not Bill Clinton. Why isn't Bill Clinton dragged up? Why not Bill? Oh, is it because he's a leftist and he's on the correct side of the political spectrum according to the popular kids? But you have a huge political motivation anytime a conservative, libertarian, not ranked leftist is just a tool. Like, oh, if it's a guy and he's about to become whatever senator, you could take him down. That's a huge. And there, I'll give you another example, though it's not politics unto itself. What the hell has Kathleen Kennedy got on the Disney corporate executives that she's still around? There's got to be some sexual hanky-panky going on. The whole, what's his name? The kid, blah, 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 hung himself. What the hell was that guy? Epstein. The male sex drive will get men into a lot of trouble, get the opportunity for a lot of dirt on them. They're both real and fake. And so there's obviously a political, oh my God, did you know Trump had sex with a porn star? Oh, geez, no, anything but. And even though it's crass, I'm not a big fan of Trump, even though it's crass, we said grab him by the pussy, some locker room talk, that sent like a bunch of professional activist women to go knit some hats and go protest. Like, are you kidding me? Really? So there's, especially when it comes to politics and knocking someone out of a race, or disempowering your political adversaries. Oh yeah. Oh, that's old school, going and finding some gal to get some dirt on you. I still want to know, what does Kathleen Kennedy have on the various investors and the executives and the boardroom people? What dirt does she have that she's still in power? Like, she could still make movies. How is she not gone? The only way, well, they could be in an ideological echo chamber and they don't know that they're losing money or they don't care. Or she's got some crazy dirt on someone or some people that oh yeah. And I almost guarantee you it's of a sexual nature. So there's that. And then there's the emotional and psychological motivation. And that's just your good old, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. Where you reject the girl. I think that was the Mattress Girl deal where the guy rejected, the guy had, you girls all want Chad. You sleep with them. You think, okay, I gave you my vagina. Commitment now? I make fun of men. Touch peen now? He bought you dinner. Touch peen now? And you girls, I give you vagina. Marriage and commitment now? No, that's not how it works. Strong and independent. That was a one-time thing. And then you get all emotional and pissed off that he's not proposing to you on one knee. Or there's a dating, or maybe he cheats on you or whatever. For whatever reason, even if the guy legitimately wronged you, dude, I've had my tires slashed and windows broken. I've been punched. That was like me not wanting to sleep with the girl. Not acceptable. But that any kind of logic or reasoning goes out the window when you tell a woman no. And she, I mean, Cuddle Wookums did that to Vlad. They were going to have him arrested. I said, you better bring a camera and you better film it all. And you better have our cop buddy there. And thank God he did. Women, not all, but man, women cannot be rejected. You dare reject a woman. How dare you, sir? And they will get their pound of flesh. And oh my God, looky here. There's this thing called the internet, and I could accuse you of all sorts of fake things and get my revenge on you. So there's an emotional and psychological motivation to take advantage of this disproportionate sex drive. And so what's ended up happening is, generally speaking, as I said before, I think women's reputation has been ruined, or not ruined, but marred, or maybe it's just become more accurate for more modern times and more modern women. I don't believe my grandma, bless her soul, still alive today, was the type. Shoot, even my mom was appalled when, back in the 90s, all these girls were standing me up. I'm like, do women do this? What, you didn't give me the right information. Like, we would never do. She was appalled women would stand men up, and that was a boomer. My grandma, guaranteeing you that the idea of a false accusation, it just wouldn't, probably still hasn't crossed her mind in the 90 odd years she's been alive. Modern women, not so much, especially, and their condition. You start right off the pad. Men are oppressing you, the victim oppressor of the traditionally Marxist narrative, and there's the patriarchy, and you got to go fight those boys. And so now already you're agitated toward this group of people that you barely know. You just went to school and they're just playing with trucks at 7 years old. Like, we should hate those people. The stick folk, they got a third little stick. They got 2 legs and a little stick. We should kill them all. So now as time is going on, and you have the internet as a magnifying glass to expose this behavior, men have what I would say, 2 things. One, women's views, opinions, and thoughts and policies on men's have changed for the worse. Men not only now more accurately see women for who they are, but we can see this continued trend, or maybe one would consider it decay, or women would call it independence. Well, we just don't need you and we don't want you around now. Leave us the fuck alone. Like, okay, well, that technically isn't hate. You just don't like us and don't want to be bothered by us. But we can see it. You got the internet, TikTok girls just ranting and hating on men is a little skewed negatively. Well, you look at what they're teaching in the public schools, you see the movies, you take it all in, and you see the internet, like, yeah, men aren't wrong. I mean, trust your eyes, guys. Women really don't like you that much, especially the younger you get. And especially when men start taking damage or suffering it when women don't like men and now want to punish men for it, men even indirectly suffer pain or suffer a consequence. And what I mean by that is the number one thing that usually slaps a young man out of any kind of idealistic notions of women being sugar and spice and everything nice, and that is divorce. If the parents get divorced, at least that's like, whoa, wait a minute. Whoa. And now keep in mind, and all these things, all these trends where they become anecdotal instances and experiences. Also, now you got data and trends. That's why my book, The Book of Numbers, is my best-selling book right now, is because it takes all this anecdotal stuff each individual man is seeing in the world, and it says, well, here's the overall nationwide trend. These are the statistics. This is what's happening. So men start seeing their dad get divorced, their uncles to get divorced. Hell, men are young enough now that Gen X is baby boomers. Baby boomers are grandparents. So you've seen a grandfather get divorced, your dad get divorced, your uncles get divorced, maybe your great uncles get divorced, friends get married, right? And you grew up in a divorced home. Already, men are much more street smart about what women's interest, viewpoint, and opinion of men is. Right? They're not just like, oh, gee willikers. You see these, it's some Christian outfit putting out these commercials about like bring back dating, and it's these cringe schmaltzy like, hi, I think you're beautiful. You want to go out? with this non-homosexual gay music playing in the background. Oh, they're horrible. So your average young man is certainly more street smart now. They go to school, they're immediately told by their teachers that men aren't needed and women don't need them and women are strong and like and they may not be able to put a finger on it, but the adversarial and competitive viewpoint women have of men is made aware to young men, but little boys very early on. It's consistent. It goes all the way through college. Then you go get your job and they're like, don't you ask out a girl. Then you got an increasing percentage of the younger, like I said, it's only going to get worse the younger or trend towards a decay of male and female relationships, even though women may say, well, that's what we want. Okay, well then that's fine. It's neutral. But as more and more young people are being brought up on the internet, and you can see what I would argue is your British tabloid Daily Mail's skewed version of women's opinion of men, but it always skews towards hate. They're being at least informed by it. And I'm always, as you guys know, I'm always trying to figure out, okay, I know TikTok girls are way over here, but how close is the barometer of a needle of reality to that? And I'm increasingly thinking it's closer and closer than it is further away. Girls, especially, I love how we computerize dating because it allows us to tally data and statistics. Beforehand, a guy had to ask a girl out, and it was all anecdotal. It was all the individual experiences, maybe informed with his other buddies. Like, did girls say, I wish you guys were around in the early 90s, mid to late 90s, where we're just trying to like put it together. And there was no data on the internet. Now with online dating, we have it. We have it where you could see, and you guys will not only experience it, but your experiences will be corroborated. You'll think, man, I am having horrible luck. I swiped on 400 girls, only one match. And you say, no, that's average. That's real. And of that girl that you matched with, there's only like a 12% chance he's actually going on a date with you. You're going to have to text a little bit, then you're going to have to agree to a meetup, then she's going to have to show up. And so just because you match, that doesn't, you're only one quarter through the woods yet before you get to a date. And so all this informs, and I'm sorry. And then you see it's more drama. And this is not the average woman. I get it. But you see it, and the consequences are so disastrous. Men are like, oh my God, even if there's a 1 in 1,000 chance of that happening, I got to be real careful. Johnny Depp, Brett Kavanaugh, the handful of false accusations that, the University of Virginia, the Rolling Stones article, where I guess it never even happened. The Duke lacrosse team, where this starts to happen, and it's not only highlighted by the internet and the news, but it's magnified. And then young men start taking in the information from women, generally saying, minimum saying they don't need them, and getting the impression you don't like men all that much. And you look at the divorce, you look at the majority of men's experiences with women, and yeah, men are backing away, and they frankly do not trust women anymore. Certainly not to the level they used to, saying I mean, think about this. In the 40s, women were going to the factories to help make munitions and weapons and food and everything to help the men on the front. Right now, could you imagine if we had to have women go maintain the factories? They'd be like, F off. They'd probably be cheering for the other team to kill us all. I'm not even joking. I think some of them would. And I would say we will never figure out where that needle is, but you're goddamn right. Women do not like men anywhere near as much as they used to. Almost to the point you have to wonder, are they hostile? I mean, as a general, are they hostile? Are they antagonistic? Are they adversarial? Are they indifferent? Are they apathetic? Do some of them outright hate us? I don't think women like men, personally. And I don't think most women hate men either. But boy, they've gotten a real cool reception ever since. And so men see all this, and I think a very good policy for them is to distrust women. And since women are the number one interest men have in society, and women are by default fact society in the viewpoint from men, and men have a 9 times sexual drive that women do, and men want to have children and all that. Um, Men are like, okay, what I really wanted in life, what would normally motivate me, and I've talked about this, how men are the economic engines of growth, women are female youth and beauty is the fuel that they run on. Well, with that all gone, or just too risky to interact with, like it's very simple. It's like right now I could take my car and go to the gas station and pump it full of gas. For you men to put fuel in your economic engine, well, good luck finding the octane level needed to run a quality level of gas. But can you even afford it now? Is it even safe to pump gas without the car blowing up or some other legal? Like it's not worth it. It's just too risky in some regards. And so as a result, because men trust women a lot less than they used to, and what motivated men to work, go out, fight, innovate, create, whatever, actually become men, is for the most part gone, or a mere fraction of what it used to be. You have seen essentially men go galt on many, and not, now to be fair, not just motivated by the accusation economy that used to, but other things as well. Women are not attractive as they used to be anymore. They have other men's kids. It's just there's 100 other factors going on. Sometimes not even related to women. It's perfectly legal to discriminate against men. We're going to cheer on women all the time. Disproportionately, corporate America requires bachelor's required, master's preferred. Fuck off with that shit. We're done. And you've basically told men they're not wanted for coming up on 3 generations now. Men are just shutting down. But as it pertains to your specific thing, where there's this false accuser economy or a payday, men are going gold. They are divesting from women and consequently taking a lot of their economic production from it. So they're not asking women out as much. You see that in statistics. They're not working as much because why would you? Okay. And here, eternal human natural laziness starts to bite women in the ass because, well, you also voted in a welfare state. You've enabled men to live at home and not work. Why can't I find men? They're economically unavailable. Like, fuck, you made it way too hard to make a living, and then you tax the shit out of people, and then you pay us not to work. You tell us you don't need it. Well, geez, I wonder why guys are staying home and playing video games and looking at porn. They're going overseas. So that's another thing. They're just like, well, this particular country does it, but we're going to go overseas where they happen to be a little bit more traditional. They are certainly not marrying. They are having less kids. And if you look at the data, just the number one thing, economically speaking, is a much lower labor force participation rate. And so and that's just, they're like, we're done. We're not dealing with it. It's too risky. And I think men take it a little bit too far, like where I'm like, well, why don't you ask a girl out? Well, she might blast that on the internet. So what? No one knows who you are. No one cares. No one knows who she is. I think men take it a little bit too far. But yeah, men are I'd have to say maybe they're pursuing women only about 30% what men used to in times past. So there's that. And you bring up a very good point that a lot of employers are reluctant to hire women that have a sexual harassment complaint history in there. And don't get me wrong, corporate America needs to be called out, needed whistleblower protections. Absolutely. And so here's why we can't have nice things, but because so many people have taken advantage of it. I mean, have you ever looked at the number of diversity and inclusion officers, like diversity officers or diversity vice presidents, who end up turning around and suing their employer for discrimination. Well, you don't have to invite Dracula into your house, you know. You just say, no, we're not going to have that person here. We're going to have training by contractors so we can protect ourselves against future, but we're not going to have an actual department where we hire a bunch of vampires that could sue us. Because I will accuse anyone in diversity and inclusion. The vast majority of you are scam artists. You're not actually there. You're just there because you want an easy job, and you'll gladly sue to get your money, because it's all about money. It's not about like actually helping women or minorities. Not for those people who major in it. But yeah, there has been a negative consequence to women, and that is women are getting denied hiring and promotion. And some women might be the qualified individual. They might not have anything. So not only are men on a romantic, social, and consequently economic level, because that's what men's interest is, and all economic production comes predominantly from men's sexual and romantic interest in women. When it comes to actual corporate policy, now people are absolutely apprehensive about hiring women. They'll do it, and they got this really interesting needle to thread where we got to promote women. We got to promote women. But oh shit, they might sue the fuck out of you. And I mean, what was it? Was it Stephen Wynn, the Wynn casinos? Facebook, I think, had one of their diversity VPs sue him, or did they have to sue her because she stole all this money? And don't quote me, it may not be Facebook, but there's a lot of drama and bullshit now that you got to deal with. So now you started seeing guys following the Pence principle, where I'm not mentoring a woman. Nope, the door is open. I will not be in a room with a woman by myself. A very smart one is, I'm not traveling with a woman, coworker, I mean, by myself. No, we're not. We're not going to the same hotel. And you can say, well, that's the minority. That's a fraction. Even if it's 1 in 100, am I going to risk my 25-year career, my master's degree, on a 1 in 100 chance? And then unfortunately, look, I know perhaps I'm in the minority on my own channel. I believe women can work. I believe women are capable of STEM and It's all based on the individual. But we also, men and women do kind of need to work together, whether it's in a corporate environment, the military, or whatever, where there's a goal and there's a team, and it's a co-ed team. Both men and women have to work together. If they're the employees or the people in that institution. But if I got to worry that my entire career profession is going to be destroyed or sidelined or whatever because of either a fake accusation, or heaven forbid, I ask her out because I think she's cute and she's smart. Heaven fucking forbid a guy ask an employed, skilled woman out. Oh my God, cut his penis off now. There's a lot of guys who are just kind of not necessarily refusing to work with women, but they cannot actually work together. You can't spend a late night together at the office banging out a project. You can't. And it's just constantly throwing little bits of sand into the engine and grinding it down. And there you go. It's just, okay, now it's not as efficient an engine as it was before. The plane won't go as fast as it could have. Oh my God, the door hinge blew out. Who saw that coming? I still don't believe that was everyone. Oh, it's diversity and inclusion. Like, I don't think so. I think maybe that's a union problem, but yeah, men don't trust women. And so they're going to invest less. They're not going to reciprocate more. And yeah, the male sex drive is the second most powerful human drive. I used to think it was the most powerful drive. It is not. And the reason it is not is because men keep getting fat too. So the number one drive in men is gluttony. Men want to eat, or I guess laziness, because you'd also be sloth. So gluttony and sloth combined, it's just you're a lazy fat pig. Men love food and laziness more than they love sex. It's true, because if men love sex more than if men wanted women sexually anyway, I know you girls like to make that point. He doesn't love me for me. It's because who could love you? You have the same degree everybody else has. You have the same opinions everybody else has. You watch the same shit shows as everybody else has. You're not a human being. You're a robot. But you got a nice set of tits. You're damn right I'm only interested in you physically. There's no human to actually, oh, geez, look out. You're a girl boss with her MBA. Holy unlovable, Batman. But you got nice legs. And what was I? You don't love me for me because you're just so common. Why would I love you? You're boring. You know why, Brian? It's because you're such a bore. It's the worst thing to be called is boring. I don't mean you got to be a circus clown to be interesting, but when someone says, man, you are so boring, that means like there's no human, there's no you. It's all right, ladies. I know you all vote Democrat and the thing that you were told to be just like everybody else. You're so popular. Oh my God. I forgot where I was going with that. Yeah, but the short version, men just don't trust women as much as they used to. And they have every right because there's a lot of risk involved now. And we have seen enough consequences, traps that were sprung on men, whatever, of romantically or sexually pursuing women. We've seen all the consequences and how that could cost you financially, how it could cost you legally, whether or not you're inevitably, what's the word, where you're proven innocent, where you're exonerated. There's too many. So, Aziz, the scariest thing out of all of them, I mean, Kavanaugh was a fucking nightmare. That's like, holy shit. Like, the left will do anything. They will fucking do anything. But the one that scares me the most is Aziz Ansari, where he was on an awkward date and that there was no law. It was just, he was embarrassed publicly. And I think his career suffered mightily because of it. So now it's like, look, you want to talk about a limit, where you want all these guys to do these great things and make all the money. Well, some of them are going to become popular. Some are going to become successful. Do they have to worry about being embarrassed for something that they did that wasn't illegal? Might be awkward, might be socially inappropriate, but it wasn't the end all be all. And yeah, you're going to see a lot more of those soccer players who gives his mom all the money, has nothing. Yeah, you're going to see that continue. And unfortunately, I think, yes, there is. I think women are getting more support from society in their careers to offset the headwinds of male distrust. I think women's careers are going to continue to improve over time, but there's no denying that this distrust is certainly a headwind against women achieving success, and hardworking ones who probably deserve it. It's like, so there you go. Hope that answered your question. Link below if you want a real intro. He used to sponsor the show. Good guy, but I'll promote his stuff anyway. But go get the Pence Principle. It's available on Amazon. I should give you the subtitle because you just search the Pence Principle. You get the actual principle of Michael Pence. The Pence Principle, lessons all men must learn from Ford Kavanaugh, Randall Bentwick. And it's just a short little essay he wrote for his sons. Well, he probably gave the advice to his sons, and he said, look out for this. You're not going to, I think even he might have suffered a little bit from the wife. But yeah, you guys would do well. I think it might be, some of the recommendations are a little extreme, like getting consent papers and all that. But God almighty, you think, look and say, okay, what happens if I'm nominated for the Supreme Court? Do I got to worry about this gal I had sex with 30 years ago, but because I didn't have a video, we got video ourselves having sex now, or a consent form? I mean, they were even making that part of the University of California, like you had to get a consent. Like, get the fuck out of here. Oh, geez, I wonder. God, a guy needs a permission slip in some universities in this country to get a kiss. And you wonder why they're going overseas. Like, good Christ. The Pence Principle. Link below, or you can find it on Amazon. All right, let's go to the super chats and have ourselves a treat. Dre, $5. Lawsuits are the new divorce. Coach Greg Adams. Yeah, and that I finally figured out what you meant by that, Dre. Since men aren't getting married now, we could just sue men for whatever reason, whether it's in the context of work or dating or some, the marriage rates may be lower, but women could still use the legal system to get their pound of flesh from toxic men. Yeah, and I'm kind of scared a little bit, what they're not singing the praises of men in the public schools. They are weaponizing and turning women against men in the schools and the media and all that. I don't see the, hey, men are really good. You see Gillette commercials. So I don't I don't know why men aren't asking. It's so funny. It's, well, we don't get it. Even though I know it's mostly theater, I love watching these gals on the, why aren't men asking us out? I'm like, are you fucking joking? Really? Come on, computer. Nonstop Dre. How soon until Cappy gets Me Too'd from X? I worry about that. Oh, okay. The internet's being. Wow. I'm sorry, guys. We're having. How soon until Cappy gets Me Too from ex-girlfriends? I worry about that. I won't lie. I really do. Because there was one gal, all consensual, and then like 3 or 4 days later, I saw her and her friends, male friends include co-ed friends, and we had all partied, and I just happened to like be making out with this girl. And I'm like, hey guys, what's up? I had a great time. These are friends. I'm like, hey, what's up? And they were so cold and like, oh, hey, how you doing? I'm like, yeah, this and that. Then like, no one. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? And then 10 years later, I'm like, did she tell him like I did something I didn't do? I want to give details, but I didn't do anything. And I'm like, oh my God, was it the shame? Like I walked out, they saw me walk out of her room, and then she had to come up with something. I had a long time ago, I don't know if I've talked about it in a while, but when I was a security guy at campus, a female friend of ours came I just got off of duty. I was still in my uniform. I went into a room. People were watching a movie, so I kind of sat there and watched. And then our one female friend came in. She's acting all weird. We're like, what the hell are you? What's wrong with you? Why are you acting weird? Hugging her teddy bear. Then she claimed there was forcible bedroom, not fun time with this guy in a couple dorm rooms over, which I wasn't thinking. Because I had my uniform on, I immediately went over there, and it turned out it was a big bunch of guys from a visiting team that were playing sports ball. I won't say which activity or sport, but they were all big. I'm like, oh shit. I said, all right, you guys just all stay here. Cops are on the way. We know when they're from out of state. We got all your cars with the license plates ID. Don't just stay here. And then the guy was like, what are you talking about? And then a cop came in, and see, I had to call the cops. See my rule about the cops? She didn't call the cops. I had to get the cops. And I was Captain Save-A-Ho. I was the guy that was going to get the bad guy. And in hindsight now, I look at it, it's like, you know what probably happened? She probably made out with the guy. There wasn't any sex involved. Maybe he copped a feel or something, or maybe they made out for a little bit too long, and then she didn't like it. And then like there was no actual crime committed. Kind of maybe even leading the guy on a little bit, and then she's all sad. And then I'm the one. Yeah, I was like, what if that guy was innocent? You had to balance it. Probably scared the piss out of that guy. I'd love to talk to this guy now, what, 30 years later, 25 years later? What happened? Like, what choices did you make differently now? Guy could have been guilty as hell. You're right. He could have been guilty as hell. I don't know, but it was, wait a minute. If I had to look back at it now with older eyes, like, you should have gone to the cops, not me. Why were you so reluctant to tell us what happened? You know why? Because she was getting her attention out of us. That's what I think. How dare you? Fuck off. Potentially falsely accusing some guy. Drew, $5. 2 guys I was in the military with got falsely accused of certain acts. Both were blatantly false, and not one of the accusers were held accountable. Yeah, that's the other thing where it's like, okay, it's proven wrong. No one goes to jail. No one gets punished. Jimmy Dare, $5. Cappy, can you find another song to mock other than Light My Fire? I really like that song. Keep up the good work, sir. There's Nirvana. I got a shotgun. I loaded it. I'm in Seattle. Millions of dollars. Blam, bam, 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 blam, bam, 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 bam. There, how's that? Gen X is The Doors. Big animation, 7 Canadian bucks. Where there were a couple people I would have asked out at work, but sadly nowadays we can't do that. Right. There's another way that women get hurt legitimately. You girls, women want to get married, just not as much as times past. They do. It's between 7th and 4th on their list, depending on how old they are. And you girls can't find quality men. You know where you could find quality men? At work. Those who have jobs. You know where else you could find some quality men? At the gym. Men taking their health seriously. Well, I guess we can't do that now, huh? And as time goes on, for you boys who want to get married and start a family, yeah, you are going to have to go overseas. This is almost a no-brainer to me. The pond or the well is poisoned here, and women they're not brought up to become wives. A lot of them don't want to become wives, and that's fine. But there's not wife material. There's very little interest in women getting married here. So you're gonna have to go elsewhere. Drew, $2. The kangaroo courts on college campuses are done. Are they? I think, well, see, boys just aren't going to college anymore. I think primarily because they're knowing that's the wise economic decision. They're going elsewhere. Why should they? I mean, really, what has anyone given a reason for boys to go to college? But yeah, I think enough men have countersued, and that's what's going to have to happen. Is these men are going to have to countersue for defamation, loss of career. Because didn't a university have to pay like $15 million or something like that? Not stop trade, $5. I've turned down job offers and promotions because I don't want to risk being falsely accused by subordinates for correcting them or offending them. I think it's a little over worried. I mean, you could correct it. You could correct people. That's what you're supposed to do. But I don't know in what capacity or regard. Like if you said, Aaron, you're in charge of a bunch of recent zillennial female college graduates. Oh, fuck no. Absolutely not. Nope. You pay me $150,000 hiring bonus that is not refundable. Like I could literally take it and walk away and you can't do anything. Then we'll talk. Drew, $2. Remote work cuts down on false accusations as well. You know how you get rid of school shootings? Homeschool all children. Get rid of the public schools. There you go. Don't have schools. Have people autodidactism, education through the internet, and homeschooling. You will eliminate all school shootings. But what will the teachers do? Don't give a fuck. Benham, $2. Males often put their junk in that male junk mail. Right. I'm not saying men aren't earning this in some regard. I'm not saying men are all, William Holden being this classy guy. I understand. Have men sued women for anywhere near the amount? I'm sure there must have been one sexual harassment suit of a man against a woman. Nonstop Dre, $365. How soon until women threaten men with false accusations if they don't pay their bills, take them to 5-star restaurants to marry? I don't think it's going to come to that. I mean, it'll be a slow crescendo. I don't think we're like, you either pay my bills or I'm accusing you. I mean, some truly warped, mentally ill woman may at some point in time, maybe it already has happened, but I think that's so beyond the pale. There's going to have to be an interaction. The man will have to either not be wanted, and then there's the opportunity, and there's precedent for a gal to file a complaint, lawsuit, or whatever, or her feelings have to be hurt and she must get revenge from an irrational but emotional perspective. And that usually doesn't, I don't think they're going to go sue. I think what they end up doing is slashing your tires. Or I guess in the case of Chad, trying to get you in jail. I get, all right, maybe I'm not. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is that bad. SJ, 2 Canadian. Did you see South Park Pandaverse? It's hilarious. No, I haven't. I haven't watched South Park in over decades. And I like South Park. I just haven't had time. Reen Schwartzer, $5. 17-year-old awkward kid looked up how to make a friend. Met a girl he's looking at jail for sexual assault. Believe it was 2019 in the UK. Well, I'm also, did it come from the Mirror or the Daily Mail? I'm suspicious of those, where it's just so innocent. And now he's facing jail. Like, well, let's take a look. Okay. Reason Magazine. Okay, so it's from Reason. That's a reputable publication. Teen faces sex offender status for touchy 17-year-old arm on the arm waist. Last fall, England, awkward 19-year-old male touched a 17-year-old female's classmate arm on the street during the daytime. He later said he had wanted to make a friend. This rattled the young woman so much that she went to the police. Okay, she did go to the police. Now the young man is facing possible jail time to be placed on a sex register. The complaint's evidence was very clear, logical, and without embellishment, a magistrate told the young man. We can think of no motivation for you to touch the victim other than sexual. Why? Okay, yes. I guess if I'm pulling a girl out of the way of a moving train, it wasn't sexual. But generally, when men go on, so you need context. Yes, when a man touches a woman, it's generally sexually motivated. Yes. And I mean, without permission, I see that's the thing. Like dance, dude. Do you know how many times okay? Let's spin the ball on the other side. All right. Do you know how many times my junk got touched with ballroom dancing? I was just like, okay, crazy older lady, kind of flattering a little bit. All right, I guess I haven't when I'm a 50-year-old man. I almost am a 50-year-old man now. You know, I've had my ass touched and squeezed. It didn't dawn on me to go ruin these women's lives. Like, really? The complaint evidence was very good to touch the victim other than say, had she not taken evasive action, the assault was likely to have even been more serious. After the hearing, student Jamie Griffith was convicted of 2 cards, said that she had no doubt that had she not moved away from him that first time he touched her arm, he would have gone on to touch her breasts. Okay, well, I don't know. I'd have to see it. Both could be plausible. You get enough fatherless men out there who don't know standard etiquette. Like, yeah, don't touch their breasts if you just met them. Blaze Endo, $5. Why should I take advice from somebody who is always angry and grumpy? I don't know, but thanks for the $5. You mean me or the old women who are like pissed off in life? But thanks for the 5. Wisdom Vision Productions, $5. The modern gender war always makes me think of the song Savages from Disney's Pocahontas. You all decide who is colonists and who is Native Americans. I don't know if it's I I don't think this is conscious savagery. I really don't. I think it's brainwashing and unconscious, subconscious bigotry. But after a certain time, just like then it becomes very real because oh my god, look, I'll give you an example. I dated this one gal, and there was nothing really wrong with her. It just wouldn't work out because she wouldn't have sex. So okay, that's a reason not to. But we also went to this. She wanted to take me to this art exhibit at a museum. So I went there, and it was a pregnant woman photographed art exhibit. I'm like, this is always so dumb. And we were talking, and just kind of out of the blue, she's like, well, I believe that anytime a woman says no, she means no. I'm like, yeah. I thought to myself in my head, like, yeah, it's good policy. I don't want to go to jail. And then she's like, like if you're having sex and she says no, you do one more thrust, that's a forcible bedroom, not fun time. And then I'm kind of like, okay, this is dangerous. What if I don't hear her? Like, how thin of ice do I have to be on? And I just dropped her off. She's like, do you want to come in? I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm going to go home. I'll see you. Bye. Voicemail later. This is how long ago voicemail. I'm sorry to do something wrong. Like, delete. Wisdom Vision Productions, $5. Trying to figure out women in the 90s look like that clip from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia where Charlie tries to solve the Pepe Sylvia conspiracy. I have never seen an episode. I have no idea what you're talking about. Trying to figure out women in that. I'll admit women in the 90s were nicer than they were now. They weren't nice all that much, but they were nicer now. And I will say the majority of Gen X women did offer at least to pay for a half. I really believe that there was some honor and integrity in the Gen X women more than today. But there was still, you get stood up all the time and drawn bullshit. It was a pain in the ass. Alex Patino, the truck driving Latino agent in the field, $5. Remember, guys, nobody is safe. Even Vin Diesel is being accused of. Oh, that's right. Yeah. By Asta Jonassen. He thinks about it's all getting the money. Yeah. What? Really? I mean, I'm not saying it couldn't have happened, but really, Vin Diesel, like, I'm not a Hollywood estate lawyer, but I got to imagine your agent should be like, okay, Vin, you're an A-list celebrity. You got all this money. You need to talk to that lawyer over there. It wasn't Justin Bieber kind of accused too, and it turned out to be verifiably false because he had an actual receipt of where he was at that time. You just got to play defense now, especially if you're successful. Wiz Division Productions, $2 again. That pendulum keeps going higher. Yeah, unfortunately does. And I don't think young men or men of the future are going to say, hold it, maybe the pendulum should stop here and we knock it off with the pendulum going back and forth. I think they're going to, when it comes through, they're going to put rocket boosters on it and send it back at Mach 6. Alex Patino, a truck driving Latino agent in the field. Sometimes I tune into Strong Successful Male channel, and he had a crazy story about a guy who lived with roommates in a rental house, and one was a single mom. Okay. And then there's just stupid moves. Later, she tried to claim child support from him. Right. Vasectomy for the look. You guys, there's some intelligent, wise things you can do, like the after sex text and not living with single moms in a rental apartment agreement. Having all communications be electronic. See, what's sad is this is not, look, I've dated hundreds of girls. Two for sure, three likely, / tires broke windows. One punched me because I didn't want to have sex with her. I did not. The opposite. So we're talking 4 out of 300 plus women I've dated. It is a minority. We're talking around 1%. It's still 1%. And if you date a lot, you're almost guaranteed to run into one. It's kind of like STDs. Like, okay, yeah, if you only have one life partner, your chances of STDs are pretty low. You sleep with a dozen or 20 or 30, now your chances are almost 50-50. Alex Patino, a truck driving Latino agent in the field, $2. Link to the story I put in the chat. Okay. Nonstop Dre, $365. A male lifeguard got accused for sexual assault for giving CPR to a drowning girl on the beach by the girl who he saved from death. No good deed goes unpunished. Yeah, see, and that's one of those things like, okay, is the girl just crazy, or was there something a little, like, was he giving her tongue or something? I don't, everyone says, oh my God, I can't believe this crazy news story. And then you find out Fox News lies, or those tabloids lie, or there's actually an element of truth. And I'm always suspicious of these zany stories like, oh my God, based on this little excerpt I have here, can you believe this crazy woman? Like, hold on, we don't have all the facts. So I'm a little guarded on those. Alex Patino, $5 again. On that story, the reason the single mom wanted child support was because he babysat a few times. I think I remember something similar, like, if he babysits, do I get to claim it? Really, nope, my money's in a trust. No, I got nothing. My mom has my money. Terribly sorry. But in the overall question of it was implied, maybe he didn't explicitly state it, is that as times get more desperate, will people resort to more and more crazy, outlandish tactics to get money? Yes, they will. They absolutely will. I know several older men where they're on the dating apps and these women want help with their rent. Like, what happened to Strong Independent? You see, I remember in times past, you would, the Supreme Court, these are serious people. This is very important. And then you had that circus with whatever Kavanaugh and whoever his accuser was. what and the idea of the family court and what it functionally is, though it's not designed this way. I mean, there was no intent or malice. It has become a wealth transfer tax from men to women. And that's what a lot, the latest divorce is the new lawsuit. I think there is a percentage of the population, thankfully it's a minority, but yes. Well, just like young boys, oh, I have disability, mental disability, give me money. Oh yeah, he totally touched me, I'm suing him. Yes. I could see that happening increasingly so. And men are just going to keep pulling back and back. And soon a lot of men just aren't even going to have the money. Like, no, I'm done. I'm demoralized. I'm just going to work. And so I don't know. There's going to be less men with the money to sue. And then the men who do have the money will increasingly put it into trusts or give it to their mom or whatever. Look what, and I'm going to ask you girls, don't you like it that you've made it now an us versus them? Isn't this fun? Isn't it nice we have the sex war going on? It's us versus them, you versus us, us versus you. Boy, this is real great working together. But when I was in college, a guy squeezed my ass while dancing. Oh, no. Well, let's call the National fucking Guard, huh? You should hunt him down. Maybe it's because girls get so much attention. I guess it is the blackmail effect, or not the blackmail effect, the Junkman Effect. Like, it was nice when a girl pinched my, even though sometimes they're pretty old, but it's like, all right, thanks, lady. Even gay guys hitting on me. They're like, hey, you did it? Nah, I don't bet for that team. Well, you let us know. All right. You're like, I'm not gay, but it's nice to know the gay guys think I'm cute. He's just like, oh my God. I mean, really, are we going to go hunt down the gay? Am I going to go hunt the guy down from the gay 90s who harassed, but didn't even harass? You have a nice ass. It's like, get the bus stop. Thanks, buddy. Thanks a lot. All right. No, I don't. I'm not on that team, but it made me a bit. It's going to make the bus ride a little bit better home. Thank you. I'm going to hunt him down and sue him when he runs for office. Trey, $2. I like the narrator voice for your audiobook. Yep, Keith Hughes. Yep, you did a good job. All right, there you go. Depends principle. Link below. See you guys later, Toodles.